Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Pixar's Lightyear, which is a spin-off of the Toy Story series, which is the movie that Andy saw in 1995 that inspired him to get Buzz Lightyear the toy, that inspired him to just love movies, and it's his favorite movie of all time. This is the film that he watched in the theater all those years ago, and so this is a fun, different little spin-off that kind of has the origins of this character and has a fun little spin on the version of this character that we never really got to know, the version of Buzz Lightyear that he thought he was before he realized that he was actually a toy. And so what did I think of this movie? Well, I thought it was pretty good. I don't think this is amazing in terms of Pixar's standards. I think this movie is very conventionally fun. It is a very fun sci-fi movie, and that is how I would describe this movie. I wouldn't describe this as an animated kids movie. This is really a sci-fi adventure film that has, a great cast of characters, has a lot of great visual style in terms of being an animated sci-fi adventure. There's so many great visuals in this movie because sci-fi movies are known for their grand, scope and their grand ideas and their grand, visuals, and that is essentially what this movie is. Is this movie super deep? Does it have a great message? It has a message, but is that message super deep and integral into like society or whatever you want to learn about, whether it's culture or whether it's, about life and death, whatever it is that Pixar is known for? Does it have any of that? Not really. This is at its core a movie about friendship and a movie about working together rather than taking everything upon yourself and doing things alone. And one thing that people have heavily criticized this movie for being before they actually saw the movie was the fact that Tim Allen is not voicing Buzz Lightyear, and this movie is Chris Evans instead. And I will say that Chris Evans was a great Buzz Lightyear in this film. And to explain this to you, I will, reference this little guy right here, which you guys have probably seen in the background of my reviews. Somebody made this for me. It's a Funko Pop of me, essentially. And would I voice this character if I were, made into a toy for whatever reason and immortalized? Would I voice that character? No, you cannot pay me enough to voice the toy. So, of course, me being an A-list actor, I'm not going to voice this little toy. You're going to get some other actor to voice that. So that is Tim Allen's version of that character. And I will also say that Tim Allen is reaching his 70s, so that's probably the reason why he's not voicing a young, spry, star cadets pilot that is, going on this grand adventure, because Tim Allen, quite frankly, is a little bit too old for this version of this character. So if you're complaining about that, get over it and have fun with this adventure. Keke Palmer, Taika Waititi, and Dale Soules play the team of cadets that are kind of banding together to go on this adventure with Buzz Lightyear, and I really like this team dynamic between everybody in this film. They all work together very well. Their banter between each other and the comedy that they find with each other, especially with the comedic relief being Taika Waititi and Dale Soules' characters. It was a lot of fun to see all their banter together, and of course the most important character and the most important member of this team being Socks, voiced by Peter Sohn, who is just an absolute delight. I loved Socks' character in this movie. And another complaint that I've heard online is, if this movie was so popular and Andy loves this franchise so much, why didn't he have a Socks toy? Well, Pixar explained that because Socks was so popular that it sold out immediately, and it was probably really expensive as well. And I guarantee you that's going to happen in the next few months when Socks toys are released in our actual world, because this character is so inventive and charming and funny, and the banter that this character has and the chemistry this character has with everybody else in this film is so brilliant. And Socks was very integral to almost every single story aspect of this film because he was so useful. He found out the formula to make, this hyper speed potion thing, whatever it's called, to work. He figured that out over 60 years because essentially Buzz Lightyear has stranded their entire civilization on this ship on this planet, and they have to find some way to go back home. And so Buzz Lightyear is flying on these missions that whenever he goes on this 4-minute mission, he fast forwards 4 years in time on this planet. And this is a sci-fi concept that I really, really love. You see some similar things in like Interstellar or other sci-fi movies like that, and so this is Pixar doing that idea. And I love the fact that he keeps on, trying to go on this mission, and he's not living his life anymore. He's living for his mission, and he doesn't know how to live for other people. And that is essentially what ALISHA, Hawthorne's character, is trying to convince Buzz that, this life that she has created on this planet is worth living. But Buzz is so focused on his mission that he's going on this thing, and it essentially goes to a point where when he comes back, she has already passed away. And that was definitely the most emotional moment in this movie. It's probably my favorite scene. This message that she leaves him is absolutely heartbreaking and almost brought a tear to my eye. It was a beautifully done, beautifully written part of the story, and I just wish the rest of the movie could have had that much emotion to it. But that being said, Izzy Hawthorne, which is the granddaughter of this character, ends up having a really great bond and banter with Buzz Lightyear later on in this movie. And when you get that to infinity and beyond in this message, and at the end of the movie where, this new Hawthorne says that to Buzz, that was a great, heartfelt moment, but it wasn't as strong as I think the filmmakers wanted it to be, or maybe they just wanted to make some fun sci-fi adventure with these characters, because that is pretty much all this movie is. The adventure is also very fun because Buzz Lightyear, being his arrogant self, goes up, he figures out this formula because of socks, and once he comes back 22 some years later, he meets Hawthorne, and the world has been essentially ravaged by all these giant robots, that are all kind of serving Zurg, which is the Darth Vader character of this movie, and all these little robots or big giant robots are the stormtroopers, because they definitely feel like stormtroopers in this as well. But this ragtag group of characters have to go up and blow up this Death Star-like ship and take down Zurg, fly back down, and just, start life again, or possibly with Buzz Lightyear's character escape this place. And in terms of Zurg being the villain of this movie, they do some breaking continuity kind of technically, and I think some people might have issues with that, because in Toy Story 2, canonically, Buzz Lightyear and Zurg is Buzz Lightyear's father. It is very much a ripoff of Star Wars, or maybe an homage, a heartfelt homage to Empire Strikes Back. And in this movie, that is very much not the case, because when Buzz Lightyear is captured by Zurg and Zurg comes out of his suit, it is not his father, but it is Buzz himself. It pulls a Lego Movie 2, essentially, and he is the villain of his own story. And that makes a lot of sense for this character and for his arc, because in this version of this character, when he came back, he was almost court-martialed, he was almost arrested, so he flew off into space, going as fast as he could, and he went far, far, far into the future, and he got all this tech, and, started to figure out that if he can go forward into the future, maybe there's a way to go back to the past, and to stop him from ever crashing on this planet, so he can live his life and have Hawthorne together and just them live their normal life as if nothing had ever happened. The only problem is, at this point in the story, Buzz has created such a great bond with, Hawthorne's family, and seeing that Hawthorne had lived such a great and fruitful life, and her life, did matter, and that all those experiences amounted to something really special, and so he does not want to erase all of that from existing at all. And so in terms of fun animated sci-fi adventures, this movie does have a really great story arc. It has a really great pacing. The visuals are incredible. It's really fun to watch. You never get bored watching this movie, because you're always moving. You're following these very entertaining and lovable characters, especially Buzz, Socks, and Hawthorne. Taika Waititi and everybody in this film was just so damn charming, and it just is hard not to really enjoy watching these group of characters do all of these things. The only problem is this is a Pixar movie, and in the grand scheme of Pixar, it does kind of fall down the ranks in terms of my rankings. I'm not necessarily, crapping on this movie in that way because of Pixar. This movie is fun in its own right, it's very entertaining, but comparatively, it does fall down the ranks, and it's landing at my number 19 of 26 in my Pixar rankings on Letterboxd if you want to check that out. In terms of this movie, I really did enjoy it. I cannot wait to watch it again in IMAX. I think that'll be a lot of fun, just to get the whole visual aspect of this movie and really take in that story and really take in these characters, because there's a lot of lovable things about this film. So what did you guys think of Lightyear, the brand new film that is what Andy saw? Do you think it is going to inspire kids in the way that it did with Andy? If you show a kid this movie, it's going to do to kids what Star Wars did in 1977 with, that generation. Is that movie going to be, or is this movie going to be that sort of thing for other kids? And I think honestly it has a good chance to be. And so that will be my review. If you guys enjoyed this video, like I said, comment down below, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews just like this one. I missed a few movies in the past couple weeks because I've been focusing on Obi-Wan. So if you want to go check out a video that I'll have later on in this week, it'll be 10 movies I missed for the first half of this year. I'm going to be talking about Cha-Cha Real Smooth. I'm going to be talking about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Emergency, and a few others that I've seen scattered throughout this year. So definitely go check out that video when it comes out. So thanks everybody for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in my next one.